Okay, so I want to go over a few more multiplication problems from yesterday. Okay, so this will be a little bit review, but in particular I definitely want to cover these guys where you have something, some binomial cubed. So what? I don't think it's a felony, but I don't know. But let's do this now, and then we can. Okay, you guys ready? I recommend for this type of problem that we do like the vertical stacking method, where you go this one times this one gives me 3x cubed, and then this one times this one gives me negative x squared. And then this one times this one gives me negative 5x.
So,
yeah.
So when you have a question that say has like 5d plus 3, and then you have 5d minus 3, do you really like
5d plus 3 and 5d minus 3.
From there, is that the conclusion that you end up subtracting the middle term?
Yeah.
And
That's
all you have to do is just
yeah, you multiply this one and multiply this one and you're done basically.
Alright.
Yeah, that's one of our other special products. Can you guys turn? I'm doing a lesson, so Brenda, can you hold off, and Anna, can you hang on to your well, there's a conversation going on. Alright. Not trying to catch the exact second you're talking, but if it were within the last minute, you were. Okay? So let's move on, please. So now we're going to multiply here, we're going to multiply here, we're going to multiply here with this one. So what you want to do is stack the like terms underneath, if there are any. So 2 times 3 gives me 6x squared. And it's positive. And then, so since it's an x squared also, I stack it right underneath the squared ones. Now this one, 2 times negative x minus 2x. So I stack it right underneath the other one with the like term. And then finally, 2 times negative 5, negative 10. And once you've done this, you can add, take that back there, it's awful looking. You can add straight up and down. So this one we get 3x cubed, and this is a 6, this is a minus 1, so we get what, plus 5 minus 7x minus 10. So that's how I do one of these. It's not terribly hard, but it's easy to make a mistake. So okay, so let's move on to this one now. I want to spend more time with number 5. We have the special pattern up there on the board. We have a plus b, and if we cube it, this is a special pattern that you need to become familiar with. It's a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared, and then finally b cubed. So what you want to do is use this pattern to multiply this out. It's faster. And so that pattern you won't have to memorize. It's written up on the board for you, and it will be written up on the day of the test. So you don't have to memorize the pattern. That being said, which part up here is the A and the B? Well, before we get to that, let's look at the subtraction one. It's very similar. A plus B, whoops, hold up. A minus B cubed. It's a very similar pattern. In fact, it's exactly the same except for a few of the signs changed. So you have A cubed minus 3A squared B plus 3AB squared minus B cubed. You'll notice the only difference between these two is that the signs alternate. So you have plus, minus, plus, minus. It's the exact same. Now there's something else I'd like to point out to you. You notice the A's, the power on the A's are going down by 1. 3, 2, 1. And then if you want to think of it, there's even an A here, A to the 0. But what is A to the 0? 1. Okay, so it really goes down 3, 2, 1, and then A to the 0. But since A to the 0 is 1, we don't write it in. But as far as the pattern goes, it's easy. Now on the other hand, the B's go up by 1 as you move to the right. So if you wanted to, you can think of it as a B to the 0. And of course B to the 0 is 1, so we don't put it in there. But you have 0, 1, 2, 3. So as you move from left to right, the A's go down by 1, the B's go up by 1. Does that make sense? Now that's if you want to try and memorize it. But like I said, it is written up there already. And so now what I want to do for you is this problem here. We have xy, I want to make it larger here, minus 4 to the third power. So the pattern that we want to look at is this one. Does that sort of make sense? That one right there. Okay, so here's how this works. You need to identify which one of these is the A and which one's the B. Well, this whole thing here is the A, and this whole thing here is the B. Now, since they have the signs worked in there, when you're using this B, you don't need to include the negative with it. Okay? You just plug them into this formula. So, according to this formula, I'll go ahead and show you now. The first thing I start off with is the A cubed. Well, that's this thingy. So what I do is I put x, y, and I put cubed. You see how I'm using the pattern?
Yeah.
It's whatever your A is, it's cubed. Then you do this, minus 3 times whatever A is. And then you're going to square that. And then multiply it by whatever B is. You see? Well, you see that's the next term here. So I automatically have this 3 sitting here. And now, what's the A? Well, the A is the xy again. So I'm going to put xy here. And the B, in this case, is the 4. Notice that I did not put the negative with it. It's because this pattern has the negatives built in this time. So you don't have to put another negative in there. Okay, so then the next term is this one. Well, it starts off with a 3 and it's positive. And then I put A in. Well, A is this one. It's xy. And then I put B in. But B is being squared. So this time I put 4 and I put a square. And then finally I have this last term to deal with. This negative. And I'm going to put cube. What number goes in? It's the B. This is the B right here, so put 4 here. Now, after you've substituted everything into here, then work on simplifying this. All you have to do is now clean this up. So if I clean this up, I say that this is going to become x cubed, y cubed. Now, I have a 3 times a 4, so that's going to give me minus 12. And then I'm going to have an x squared, y squared from here. And then what do I have? I have 4 squared here. 4 squared is 16. And so I'm going to multiply this 16 times the 3 out in front here. And that gives me 48. So this is plus 48. Okay. And then I have also an xy sitting right there. And then finally this one is 4 cubed. Well, that's 64. So then I have minus 64. Now that's our answer that we came up with using the pattern. Now, if you insist, you're also welcome to do this the long way. I think the pattern is going to be easier, but if you insist, you could have done it the long way. Like for example, you could have done this. You could have done xy minus 4 times xy minus 4 times xy minus 4. And then you could multiply this all out. And then you could combine like terms. And then you could have taken this whole big thing and multiplied by the last one here, xy minus 4. Okay, if you insist, you can do it the long way. I don't recommend this, especially on the day of the test, because if you're doing it the long way, you might take 5 minutes to do the problem, or someone doing this using the pattern is going to be doing it in like 2 minutes. Okay, so it takes much longer. The other reason why is that I think you need to be used to using formulas and using these patterns. So anyhow, no worries, these will be written on the board, but you do have to get used to be able to use them exactly how I've used them right here. Any questions? Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you for today. And so there's like maybe an application you might do where you have to multiply. You know, if they have decimal numbers, just use a calculator and multiply them. It's easy. In any event, we're kind of done now. What I'd like to do now is give you the rest of the period to work on your study guide and also to work on the book assignment.